What up with it, y'all? It's Coffee tapping back in, and Fitzmagic, Ryan Fitzpatrick, his whole media analyst role and the way he's transitioned to it, he's kind of, I enjoy it. Everyone let me know if you rock with Fitz, during those Amazon live streams, and as a Bills fan, and just having the utmost respect for Fitzmagic, you know what I'm saying, with his warrior like heart, never say quit, rock his wedding ring during the games, gunslinging, getting to the point of, like, from Harvard quarterback to NFL, like right on the brink of really breaking through. You know what I mean? Like Fitz, even though he never made the playoffs and things of that nature, like Fitz is a solid dude. He just has the heart of a lion, like I said, a heart of a warrior, and I love to see him keep with it. Everyone out there, tap in and let me know if you feel the same way. There was someone a long time ago when I first started making vids, man, who enjoyed my commentary on Fitz. Dude was a Buccaneers fan, and if you remember, Fitz was on fire ASAP when he was in Tampa. Him and Deshaun Jackson, the viral that was great. You guys remember he came out with Deshaun's chains on and the shades and all that. And that's interesting. That plays into what I was kind of trying to say here with what Fitz has been doing as a analyst, color commentator, whatever you want to call it. On social media, he kind of is like a smart ass or talking greasy a little bit. Like Fitz has a lot of character. And that was something we saw with his time with the Buccaneers, But yeah, dude was saying, man, Fitz, like they prematurely benched him there. It was shocking. I thought that they did when they did. He really was turning up. But here he's commenting about this situation with Tom Brady, who was definitely an op of Fitz at his time with the Bills. He was the first Bills quarterback to beat the Patriots in however long it was, right? So, he's always had Brady on his radar. And another thing, Fitz being a journeyman, he played for every team in the AFC East except for the Patriots, the Cheatriots, right? But, everyone's been talking about Brady being the minority owner with the Las Vegas Raiders. We see he's getting super active, involved. He's trying to get Shedeur Sanders there, which is an interesting storyline with the mentorship role. I'm real intrigued to see if it happens or not. Let me know if you think it'll happen. Does he got an ace up his sleeve for draft day to get Shedeur? Where do you guys think Shedeur will go in the draft? All that, But it's like he's real active in trying to bring back the Raiders to being a solid team. It's been ugly over there, dude. It's been super ugly, and everyone, like, the big thing is now with the ownership role, and him being more involved coming next season, the analyst thing is like a conflict of interest. And you see right here, Fitz said, I feel like we've seen this before, right? Roger Goodell, Tom Brady is incredibly cooperative, avoiding Fox and Raiders conflicts. He's so cooperative, right?
Here's Mark Davis. If there's any doubt whatsoever that Tom Brady, minority owner, isn't majority voice of the Las Vegas Raiders, here's Mark Davis from yesterday after the press conference speaking to reporters about the void that Brady has filled in the organization, a void that has been there for right around 3 years.
Bringing in Tom Brady was bringing in somebody that was on the football side that I had been lacking having here at the organization. Back in, I guess it was 18 with John Gruden, he was somebody that I brought in and really expected to be that person on the football side that would bring stability to the organization. He had a 10-year contract and all that, and his head was chopped off. And we were put in a really bad position as an organization.
Very graphic metaphor there from Mark Davis, but John Gruden was forced to walk away after emails he had sent while working for ESPN, not the Raiders, to former Washington executive Bruce Allen came to light. And within 72 hours, when the first wave of leaks didn't force him out, There were leaks to the Wall Street Journal on a Friday. He coached on Sunday. On Monday came the leaks to New York Times, and off John Gruden went. I still got a problem with that happening during a season because it undermined the integrity of a season, because it forced the Raiders to change coaches during a season when this could have been handled before the season or after the season. There are still issues with that. Mark Davis is still upset about it, but the point is this. Tom Brady's taken John Gruden's place. He's not coaching the team, but it shows you the level of the voice. And again, Pete Carroll's got to be thinking, well, okay, I wanted a job and nobody else was hiring a 73-year-old head coach, even though I think more teams should have been interested in hiring Pete Carroll. He took the job he could get, but he's got to be thinking, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? I know what I'm doing. We're going to have this guy who has an elevated voice to me who isn't available to come to the games because he's working for Fox those days. It's just an awkward thing that for now everything's great. It's never better than it is the first day. As reality settles in, there's going to be some things that have to kind of get worked out here between Pete Carroll, Tom Brady, and Mark Davis, Devin.
No doubt about it. I think especially because Mark Davis compared Brady to Gruden. Gruden was a head coach. Like, he was a football guy. He was the head coach of the team. So when you have a guy like John Gruden, years of experience and all of that, and then you bring in Pete Carroll, it's like, well, why isn't Pete Carroll that guy now? Like, isn't Pete Carroll their football guy? So I don't know. I think they have to have a good relationship. Whatever it is, you're going to need Pete Carroll and Tom Brady to get along, to understand each other. You're going to need all of that for it to work. It does seem like it would have made more sense as a younger head coach would have a relationship with Tom. But I think the problem there is Tom doesn't have the experience in that role, and that head coach wouldn't have. So now you might take more of a risk saying to Tom, like, help guide this guy when you don't have the experience yourself yet. To me, it could be a very good mix in Pete Carroll and Tom, because Tom won't always get to be there. So his ability and relationship with Pete Carroll can, I think, help mend some of that when he can't see things, if they're able to have conversations, to call, to talk. It just will matter to me. Pete Carroll did something for a long time and has had success, and he did it a certain way. You just said it. He's at that stage where, he just doesn't care. So, like, does he buy into this new way because now he gets an opportunity, or is he like, hey, like, my way works. Like, I've won games. I've been in Super Bowls. I've won Super Bowls. I've won national championships. Like, I know what I'm doing. I think that's where you got to try to figure out in the offseason, the first few days, it's all good. As Poppy says in Trolls, it's all cupcakes and rainbows. But once the season starts and you get into it, that's when you got to figure it out. You like that one, huh?
Well, it's better than smiles and glory holes, that's for sure. Here's where we got to take a break, but here's where it becomes potentially fascinating and dysfunctional. If Pete Carroll is there busting his ass every single day, getting his finger on the pulse of this team, the Raiders, not the whole league, the Raiders, and Tom Brady's doing these drive-bys, and he's feeding ideas to Mark Davis, and Mark Davis is taking Tom Brady's advice over the advice of Pete Carroll. At some point, Pete Carroll will say, what are we doing here? You got a guy who is working his primary job when I'm working my primary job, and my primary job is to be your coach. And Tom Brady's defiant about finishing this 10-year contract with Fox. Defiant. It's a middle finger to anyone who would dare criticize him for trying to spin both plates, for trying to be the best possible owner while also being the best possible broadcaster, which is impossible to do. At some level, he knows it, but he understands, I'm Tom Brady. I'll do what I want, and nobody's going to tell me not to, other than people like me that no one's going to listen to. And when they do listen, they're going to say, you shouldn't say that. I don't care. It's true. And there's the recipe for potential dysfunction if Mark Davis listens to Tom Brady and not Pete Carroll, and they disagree on key things, and Pete Carroll says, screw this, I'm the guy who's here working.
So, yeah, that was pretty wild the other day, man. First off, though, we got to say, glory holes and smiles? Pause. Get that one the fluck up out of here. What the fluck, man? But Mark Davis doing this press conference, Pete Carroll coming in to coach, Brady being so hands-on like we were just talking about, and it really presents. Everyone, share your thoughts, man. Like, we saw Tom Brady continues to be a guy that he's a trailblazer in a sense, right? Like, he sets precedents. I mean, what the dude did with all the dynasty with the Patriots, and then going to the Buccaneers and winning a Super Bowl in that first season was unbelievable. I still can't believe that they pulled it off, man. Going into the playoffs, I just did not see it. It was like they crept in the playoffs, but then eliminated their divisional rival, New Orleans Saints, who swept them in regular season. You guys remember that? They got swept. Brady wouldn't shake Stafford's hand, someone else that he lost to. It was looking ugly, but playoff times came around, and Brady did what he did, and it just shows like what Tampa did. When I'm saying setting precedents, they allowed him to wear more than one hat. You're the coach, but you also have a say in personnel decisions and who we sign and the type of offense we're running and stuff like that. So essentially, you're the QB / play a coaching role / front office role. And, the whole conflict of interest thing that we're getting into with the whole broadcasting, and then now the ownership side of things. But then him also as this minority ownership, playing a role almost in GM decisions and ownership decisions, like so much. It really presents, because we saw in Tampa, him and the coach Arians, it was ugly. They fell out, straight up drama. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, now, could we see that all over again with the Raiders, or will he be able to bring them back to a solid team, a contender? I mean, the Raiders have continually, to me, seemed like a team that is right on the brink of great things, but we saw so much drama going on with all the stuff with Gruden and the infighting with the organization. It was really something else, and what do you guys make of that? Davis just going off on that rant about Gruden, and it's so wild, man. I didn't know till I saw the story break the other day that Gruden still has an ongoing lawsuit within the league, man. It's like, man, the NFL is shady, the drama, all that. It's grimy, you know what I mean? So tap in with all your thoughts in regards to that. But with what Fitz was saying here, this was this report, Roger Goodell, Tom Brady is incredibly cooperative, avoiding Fox and Raiders conflicts. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell says Tom Brady has done everything asked of him by the league in balancing his responsibilities as Fox #1 game commentator and a minority owner of the Raiders. Quote, Tom has been incredibly cooperative. He calls frequently about it and says, am I doing okay? Goodell said, quote, I think he's serious that he separates the two and doesn't put the league or anyone in a position of conflict. But the mere fact that Brady has to frequently call the league and ask if he's doing okay shows that his situation is far outside the norm. And let me stop right there. Just like I was saying, what happened in Tampa and all that, like Brady just continues to be a trailblazer, to when things go in the record books, the history books, uncharted territory, what we saw in Tampa, all the privileges and letting him wear all those different hats, and now him as the minority owner, it's like, will things go well this time around? It definitely is far from the norm. Other team owners and game commentators don't have to ask that question because they haven't had special rules implemented for them the way Brady has. Goodell reiterated that Brady, like every owner, is subject to the league's tampering policy. Everybody in the National Football League, owners and personnel, is still subject to tampering rules, Goodell said. Everyone is responsible for his conduct and they're held accountable. You guys remember before Brady, the situation with the Raiders, which I was talking about, all that infighting, that came behind going into uncharted territory with Brady. There was a different version of what we're seeing playing out where Brady actually played with the Raiders, but it didn't happen, and there was a lot of infighting behind it. But remember, prior to this, Miami, AFC East rival, was the first team that he was trying to get a minority ownership role in. This was something that was going on, and moves were being made in the cut for years. And obviously you see what he's talking about with tampering. We know that there was a tampering scandal with the Dolphins. You know what I mean? So will things work out? Can Brady pull it off again with the Raiders? It's a pretty interesting storyline. Everyone, let me know what you think. Goodell left the room for the possibility that the policies on what Brady may and may not do could be changed this offseason. He did not say what changes are being considered. So you see here in this thread in regards to all this, right, in the Twitter sphere, the first comment, they always bend the rules for him. I think that's what Fitz is saying when he's saying, we've seen this before, like he just has a disdain for Tom Brady as him being a, divisional rival for so many years. And, like Brady, Fitz Magic and Brady, like, they're ops. It'd be a lot better if he would cooperate and stop putting on the headset. What do you guys think? Do you think he will continue to be an NFL analyst, or that will stop, or there will come conflict behind it? I would think just time-wise, how he wants to be so hands-on with the Raiders, he wouldn't have time to be the analyst. But then with the ownership rules, there's certain meetings and stuff that he can't be at. Like, there's a real possibility for this to be a recipe for disaster in so many ways, man. If he was cooperating, he'd respect the rules and choose one or the other. Incredibly selfish of him to put the NFL in this position. Also, he's incredibly bad at the commentator gig. Listen, as a Bills fan who despises Brady, I give him all his props for everything he does. But as a fan, like, it's fuck Brady and Belichick. They're just the ops. They're Satan to me. You know what I'm saying? But I got to give him I thought he did pretty good commentating, to keep it real. I want to know what you think. I guess they didn't ask to see his cell phone. We'll see, Tom. We'll see. Ha ha. Hey, F off. Tom just gets to do whatever Tom wants. In a sense, when you do the things Tom does and has done, that's kind of how it goes. But we can't act like Tom hasn't had it out with the commish as well, It's such a wild situation. He's a cheater. Someone says BS. And back to Fitz here saying, I feel like we've heard this before. The NFL is corrupt and fixated on social activism and making as much money as possible. Ticket prices are completely out of control, and when you have to spend $1,200 to take a family of 4 to one football game, you've got a problem. Go back to 14-game season and expand the playoffs. I'm cool on the 14-game season. I liked the 16. This 17-ish, stupid. I don't like it. Playoffs, I don't want to see expanded. I liked actually when only 6 teams made it, personally. Let me know what you think. That's because we have heard this before. Honestly, though, what is Goodell going to say? He even defended Daniel Snyder, league first. Someone says, I just can't see how this is even allowed. There's zero chance, even if it's accidental, that crossover knowledge isn't discovered. Yeah, I mean, Brady has never toed the line of any rules to gain an advantage. Wait, what'd he do this time? How do they even allow Brady to do both? Especially after we've seen how bad he is as a color analyst. Put us all out of that misery and get him off the telly. So again, is he that bad? Do you guys not mess with Tom's? I mean, he's no Tony Romo. They were cutting Romo's mic in that playoff game. Did you guys peep that when he was speaking critically of the horrible ball spots? And listen, I've seen people talking edge because they're talking now about putting a chip in the ball or something like that to fix the spot. Like, that should have been done. I've seen someone saying, every time the Bills lose to the Chiefs, they want to change up a rule because of the overtime rule. And now, the spot of the ball thing, with all this technology, why hasn't something been done at this point? That's something we just should have been seen happen, and I just can't believe it. at this point in time, all the way technology has come, that's just being addressed. That's ludicrous. And again, I say it, man, I'm not going to be the guy to cry that the refs straight stole the game from us. You got to go out there and get the W. That's what you just got to do. But that turnover, that was bullish. On the third down, Kincaid had it. And then on the fourth, like, come on, man, fluck out of here with all that. Where was it? Wait, what do you do? How do they even... Ryan, my dude, is getting sad, like really, really sad. Brady said he has been blown out of proportion and he's actively trying to deflate the situation. That was a good one, man. He's an incredibly boring commentator. Damn, another person ishing on his commentary. I've turned off more than one game when I realized he was calling. I love the pageantry. Who believes TB12 being a color commentator will give the terrible team he has a small ownership stake in a huge schematic advantage? Goodell, I mean, he broadcasts NFL games. Think of the access. What about CTE? So there you have it, man. Fitz, like, damn, here we are again. Tom Brady. Sorry, you guys, I got interrupted there, but yeah, Tom Brady's Fitz is like, your boyfriend, your butt buddy, pause, here we are again, Tom, but in a sense, like, I feel what Fitz is saying. And again, I like that Fitz is playing this role, like, he's got character. He was a solid QB, man. He was, man, if he didn't get hurt, I wondered what he would have did with Washington. And then a lot of Bills fans were hoping he'd come back 1 year as the backup. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, like, I feel him as an op of Brady. You're like, here we are again, Brady. They're bending the rules for this bitch ass pretty boy motherfucker. But then at the same time, you look at the achievements on a respect level and you're like, of course, this is the way it's gonna go. But it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out and what ultimately is the outcome. So thanks for tuning in. Let's talk about it all in the comments. A lot to break down on this one, from Fitz to Brady to uncharted territory. Mark Davis going off about Gruden. This was a pretty intriguing video. A lot of storylines playing out, in my opinion. So let's coffee talk and discuss it all up in the comments. Subscribe. Stay tuned for more. It's Jay Coffee Talk, talking music news, sports, and more. And I'm up out of here, y'all. Peace.